Welcome back to another video from Upstart Epoxy. In this particular video, we're going to take you through all of the basic tools for your first projects so that you can make masterpieces both big and small. First, let's start off by using deep pour. Deep pour, remember, is always perfect for pouring up to 2 inches. It has a slow curing process and gives you a lot of working time. Remember, it always has a 2-to-1 ratio. So when you mix it up, you'll be able to tell there's a lot of viscosity with the product. You'll always want to get some good mixing cups as well. These are imperative for accurate measurements when you're pouring, especially 2-to-1 ratios. Make sure and get you the mixing cups that come already labeled with ounces, liters, and heck, you can even get some that have the 2-to-1 ratio requirement. It's very, very helpful to measure your epoxy. That way your ratios are perfect and spot on, folks. You'll also need some mixing sticks, a drill, and we like to get some little wooden skewers just for detail after, usually with swirls and stuff. Mixing sticks in particular are really good for when you're using tabletop epoxy because they produce less bubbles and you can mix a lot slower as opposed to using a drill for mixing. Now, using a drill for mixing is perfect for 2-to-1 ratio because you don't have to worry about the bubbles. Usually you're going to put pigment in there anyways, and if you're using 2-to-1 ratio, it's going to go ahead and settle over time and those bubbles will disperse because of the slow cure rate. Don't forget the color, folks. Upstart Epoxy promotes an awesome box of mica pigments, perfect for anything that you wish to create that you want color in. With a range of various colors that come with this assorted pack, you're bound to find something that'll be perfect for your project, whether it's big or small. You're gonna need something to pour into, right? It's always good to get a good template or a good form. Here's a word for the wise. Upstart Epoxy will soon be offering their own version of epoxy resin templates and molds, and they'll be out very soon. When you're working with a pre-made mold or template, it's really nice because you don't really have to worry about leaks or drips or anything. You can place your wood in the mold or template and expect quality results every time. These are also really good, especially for beginners, because you don't have to worry about making your own mold, making your old form, taking the time to do that. These are already made for you, and the even better thing is that they're non-stick, so you can pour and pull out and get ready for finishing it on up. You're gonna wanna get your hands on a good orbital sander. This is imperative if you wanna get off any high points or any pieces of the wood that didn't get covered with the epoxy. It's also really good for taking off excess epoxy like drips on the underside. I like to space out my grits. I'll start off with 60 grit, like I said, to get off any high points, drips, or pieces of wood that are left exposed. Then I like to go all the way up to 220. That way it ensures a nice, clean, smooth surface that's ready for a flood coat. You're always going to need a sander, folks, whether it's a large project or a small project. It's one of the essential tools for doing any of this. Now, if you want a super detailed, informative course for learning how to build a charcuterie board, go to our website, upstartepoxy.com, and get your course today. Now let's talk about tabletop. Tabletop or countertop epoxy is perfect for giving flood coats or seal coats even. Seal coats, remember, are done usually before the flood coat. So you do a seal coat, and if you have any imperfections or anything, you rip another seal coat and you get rid of those imperfections, and then you pour it with a flood coat. Whenever you use tabletop epoxy, rest assured you're going to get a beautiful finish. Just look at the gorgeous display that it does. It makes everything pop once you pour it. And the best thing about it is it will preserve your piece 100 times over. It'll preserve the project that you're working on. You don't have to worry about heat. You don't have to worry about scratches. You don't have to worry about duress because tabletop epoxy is excellent. It's like what they use in restaurants and bar tops and stuff like that. Now, let's go ahead and jump on over to our famous heat gun, or you can use a torch. These are perfect for bubbles, folks. Getting them little bubbles out, those micro bubbles that will surface, they will come out. Whichever epoxy that you're using, whether it's deep pour or tabletop, you're gonna get bubbles. It's just the way it is. There's air everywhere and they're gonna come up. But the best way to get rid of them is to use a handy dandy heat gun. You gotta use them, you gotta get those bubbles out, and the best way to do it is to get you a good heat gun, or like I said, a torch, to remove all those excess bubbles. Well, we certainly hope that you learned something from this little mini informative course, folks. But like I said, go to our website at upstartepoxy.com and check out the course that we offer. It's a full detailed course from, point A all the way to point Z that covers everything in regards to making a charcuterie board. And we honestly can't wait to see your creations and your products, folks. Once again, this is Steve with Upstart Epoxy, and we'll see you next time.